Have you ever just stopped and really truly asked yourself that big question, who am I? I don't mean your job title or your name or what other people call you, but who are you deep down? Well, today we're going to explore a very practical path to start finding that answer. So let's get into it.
It really does all start right here with this one simple question. Who am I? Maybe it's a quiet whisper you hear in a peaceful moment, or maybe it's a question that screams at you during a major life event. Either way, this is the universal spark that ignites a deeper kind of awareness. All right, so let's start by digging into what makes this question so incredibly powerful. What is it about asking, who am I, that really sets us apart, that defines our human potential compared to all other life on Earth? So check this out. On one side, you've got animal awareness. Think of a donkey, right? It feels things, the pleasure of some fresh green grass, the pain of a heavy load. It's all about reacting to the world. For that donkey, its body is its entire reality. But then you look at us, at our human potential. We can do something pretty amazing. We can step back from just reacting and ask, why? We can literally question our own existence. And that little gap right there between just feeling and actually questioning, well, that's where this whole journey of self-discovery really begins. This brings us straight to what is probably the biggest hurdle for most of us on this path, our deep, almost automatic belief that we are our physical bodies. I mean, think about it. So much of our lives are spent just doing this. From finding a more comfortable chair to wanting a nicer car, it's all about making our physical experience better. There's this great analogy. A person's joyriding in a simple bullet cart versus a fancy motor car. Yeah, the technology is worlds apart, but the fundamental goal is exactly the same: physical comfort. We get so wrapped up in upgrading the vehicle, we totally forget that we're not the vehicle itself. And that's exactly why all these external things, money, status, fancy ceremonies, can never, ever answer the big question for us. The true self is described as something incredibly subtle. And these outward things, they're just too clunky, too coarse to ever connect with it. The real tools for this kind of journey aren't things you can buy or hold. They're your own mind, your own intellect, your own consciousness. So if the work isn't done out there, then where does it happen? Well, now we turn inward, to the idea of a mental world, the true arena where all of this self-exploration takes place. This inner space actually has a name, Manaslock. And listen, this isn't some made-up fantasy land. It's a very real part of your life. Think about it. Anytime you sit down and plan out a project, you're visiting your Manaslock. That sudden gut feeling you get, that flash of intuition, yep, that's an insight coming straight from this inner world. And understanding this, it's a total game changer, because this place is the bridge that connects your physical body to your real conscious self. It's kind of like the workshop where you get to build your own reality. Okay, so this all leads to the big question, right? How do we actually do it? Let's switch gears from the what to the how and look at the actual practical steps for getting into this inner world to start our investigation. And you know what? The starting line is wonderfully simple. You don't have to become some extreme ascetic living in a cave or a master yogi who can twist into a pretzel. Nope, the only real requirements are to be reasonably healthy and to be in a reasonably happy state of mind. That's it. That is the entire foundation you need to start this work. All right, here's the core practice, laid out step by step. First, just find a quiet spot where you won't be bothered. Second, completely relax your body. I mean, really let go. Let every single muscle go limp. Third, you're going to gather up all those scattered thoughts, all that mental noise, and bring it all to a single point. That simple, core feeling of I. And then comes the really cool part, the visualization. Imagine that I is a brilliant, powerful, radiant sun at the very center of your being. Then see everything else in your life, your job, your house, your worries, your relationships, as planets, just gently revolving around you, the true source of all the light. You see, this practice creates this massive shift in perspective, and this quote says it all. They are bound to me, I am not bound by them. Everything in your life is connected to you, but it doesn't get to define you. You are the stable, unmoving center, not some little planet getting pulled around by chaotic forces. That is the transformation. Now, if you find your mind starts to wander while you're doing this, which, by the way, is totally normal, here's a really simple but powerful tool you can use.
Just slowly and with real intention, repeat your own name to yourself. It's said that the poet Lord Tennyson used this exact technique to connect with his deeper self, to feel his own unshakable reality. Pretty cool, huh?
A huge part of this is learning to see your body in a whole new light. And this slide has some amazing metaphors to help you do that. Try to feel your body not as you, but as a set of clothes you're just wearing for a while. Or think of it as a tool that you're using. You could even see it as a hollow nest that you, the bird, can leave at any time. Or simply a house that you're just resting in for now. So what happens when you keep this up, when you practice this consistently? What's the result? Well, the guide describes a truly profound transformation, a total shift in how you exist in the world. This practice creates a whole new way of being, and the image of a lotus leaf on water just captures it perfectly. You are fully in the world, just like that leaf is on the water. Life touches you, sure, but you're no longer soaked or drowned by it. You stay separate, calm, and you just float. And you can see the before and after right here. The old way of seeing things is on the left. I'm just a small piece of the world, a victim of my circumstances. But the new reality on the right is so different. My world is a reflection of my consciousness. I'm the stable center that just perceives whatever circumstances come and go. It's the ultimate shift from being a victim to being the creator. What's really amazing is that this change isn't about forcing yourself to be a better person. It's described as a completely natural evolution. As you start to identify with your true, bigger self, those old, smaller traits, like selfishness and greed, they just fall away on their own. It's like a tadpole losing its tail when it becomes a frog. It just happens. And in their place, new qualities like generosity and compassion start to grow, totally effortlessly, totally naturally, like an elephant growing its tusks. So, in the end, this isn't something you can prove with logic or win in a debate. You can't just think your way to this truth. Really, it's an invitation to just set the arguments aside and try the practice for yourself. This is a path that has to be walked, an experience that can only be confirmed by experiencing it. And so we ends right back where we started, but this time with a question directly for you. If you really are the sun at the center of it all, what kind of universe are you going to create? The journey is all yours.
All right, let's get right into it. Today we're going to tackle maybe the biggest question there is, all based on this incredible text, the science of the self and the eternal I. Our mission? It's simple, to find the real I, the real you. So where do we even begin? Well, we start with that ultimate question, right? The one that pops into your head in those quiet moments. Who am I? It sounds so simple, just 3 little words, but the answer, wow. The answer changes everything about how we see the world and live our lives. And look, the stakes here are unbelievably high. I mean, think about it. Whatever you think you are, that's what you're afraid of losing. If you think, I am this body, then of course your greatest fear is death. If you think, I am my brilliant mind, then losing your memory becomes the ultimate terror. So yeah, our answer to this question is directly wired into our deepest, most primal fears.
Now, for most of us, the go-to answer is pretty obvious, right? My body. It's tangible. You can touch it. It's what you see in the mirror. But is that really true? Let's not just take it for granted. Let's put that idea to the test with a really cool, kind of profound thought experiment.
Okay, I want you to actually do this with me if you can. Just for a second. If you're able to, close your eyes. First, just get comfortable and quiet. Now, imagine that you've died. Picture your physical body just lifeless. Got it? Okay, now for the tricky part, the really hard part. Try to imagine that your awareness, the I that's hearing these words right now, has also died. Try to imagine it just stopping. Poof. Gone.
So what happened? I'm guessing you couldn't do it, right? It's impossible. You can totally picture your body being gone, but you can't imagine your consciousness being gone. 'Cause who would be doing the imagining? There's always something left over, isn't there? A distant observer, just watching the scene unfold. That observer, that is the I we're on the hunt for.
Okay, so if this I isn't our physical body, then it kind of raises a new question. Can it be harmed by physical things? Let's push this idea a little further. Let's really test its limits and see if it can stand up to the raw power of the elements themselves.
Let's do a quick series of tests. First up, space, the sky. Imagine that I, your pure awareness, just floating through the vastness of space. It's completely fine, right? Totally unharmed? Okay, let's up the ante. How about a hurricane? A wind so strong it can rip a house from its foundation. Picture your eye just passing right through the middle of it. Is it affected? Nope. Still there, completely untouched.
All right, let's get even more intense. Imagine a massive, roaring fire, an inferno. See your consciousness, your eye, drift right through the hottest part of the flame. It can't be burned, can it? Of course not. Fire needs something physical to burn. Still no damage.
How about water? Let's plunge that eye deep into the ocean, down where the pressure would crush a submarine. Does it notice? Does the water affect it? Not at all. It passes through like it's nothing, still perfectly intact.
And for the final test, solid earth. Imagine your eye moving straight through a mountain, effortlessly. See the pattern here? This is what it all points to. This self, this essential I at your core, it's literally indestructible. It's untouchable by the physical world because it's not part of the physical world. It's something else entirely.
Okay, so we've kind of established the I isn't our body, and it's not affected by the physical elements. So what is it then? The next logical stop on our journey has to be inward, right? Into the mind. Our thoughts, our feelings, our intellect, that's got to be us, surely. And to help us navigate this inner world, we can actually look to some ancient wisdom. There's this incredible verse from the Bhagavad Gita that basically lays out a hierarchy of who we are. It shows that, yeah, the senses are powerful, but the mind is even more so. But then it goes a step further. It says the intellect is superior to the mind, and then there's something even beyond that.
And that something beyond is what they call Atma, or the self. This is the absolute core of the whole idea. The real you, it's not your thoughts, it's not your brilliant logic, it's not your emotions swirling around, it's the silent, steady awareness behind all of it. Hey, sound familiar? It's that same observer we discovered in our very first thought experiment.
Now this is the part where a lot of us get tripped up. It's just so easy to think that the constant chatter in our heads, that's us. To really get the difference, the source material suggests we do something really smart. Let's break the mind down into its two main components.
Okay, let's really zoom in on this, because it's a game changer. So you've got two layers to your mind. First, there's the instinctive mind. This is like your body's operating system, the autopilot. It's running in the background, handling your breathing, digestion, but it's also where your habits, your instincts, and those raw emotions like anger and jealousy come from. It's the animal part of us, you could say. Then you have the conscious mind. That's the voice you're using right now to follow along. It's your thinking, reasoning, analyzing mind. It's logic, it's wit, it's your inner monologue. But, and this is the big but, the source text is crystal clear on this, you are not the instinctive mind, and you are not the conscious mind. You are the awareness that is observing both of them. And once you get that, wow. When you feel that flash of anger, you can realize, that's just my instinctive mind doing its thing. It's not me. When your conscious mind is worrying, you can step back and say, that's just thoughts. It's not me. It creates this space, and in that space, that's where you find real freedom.
So here we are. We've journeyed past the idea that we're just our bodies. We've seen how the self is totally untouchable by the physical world. We've even navigated the maze of our own minds. And all of that brings us to the destination, to the final, really profound conclusion of this whole journey.
So what's the big takeaway? It's this. You are not your body. You are not your mind. You are the awareness that observes both. That's it. Your real identity isn't that thing in the mirror that gets older, and it's not the endless stream of thoughts and worries. The real you is the silent, steady awareness that just watches it all go by. Think about how powerful that is. The next time you feel a wave of anxiety, you can take a breath and remember, I am not this anxiety. I'm the one who is aware of the anxiety. That tiny shift in perspective, it changes everything. You aren't the thoughts, you're the space they happen in. You are the awareness itself.
And so, I'll leave you with one final question to really bring this home. Right now, your ears are picking up sound waves. Your conscious mind is processing the meaning of these words. But who is it that's actually listening? Who's the one that's aware of all this happening? The answer to that question, well, that's the real you.
All right, let's dive right in. We're about to tackle one of the biggest questions we can ever ask ourselves, all inspired by the ideas in the Sovereign Soul. We're going on a journey to figure out who you really are underneath all the noise and all the labels.
It's the ultimate question, isn't it? Who am I? We spend our whole lives wondering about this. And, most of us think we have the answer pretty much figured out.
We just naturally assume, well, I'm my thoughts, I'm my happiness, my anger, my dreams. It makes sense, right? We completely identify with that constant stream of consciousness, that emotional roller coaster that's always going on inside our heads. It feels like, well, us. But what if that's not the whole story? Now hang on, because here's a pretty wild idea. What if everything you think of as you, your brilliant intellect, your deepest emotions, even your moment-to-moment thoughts, what if none of that is actually you? What if they're just things that you have?
This brings us to a really huge shift in perspective. Let's start peeling back the layers here and look at the mind not as who you are, but as this incredible tool that you get to use.
So the main idea is this. The true self, which the source material calls the aham, is the one that's actually using the mind. Your mind is this amazingly complex instrument that lets your true self see and feel and interact with the world. It's kind of like the computer, not the user sitting at the keyboard.
And wow, what a set of instruments it is. I mean, you've got the sharp logic of your intellect and the warmth of your emotions. Even the highest spiritual stuff, like a flash of intuition, a feeling of deep compassion, love, or devotion, all of it, every single bit, are just different functions, different tools in this amazing gadget we call the mind.
And this is absolutely crucial to get. Even when you're feeling that profound sense of spiritual love, or you get a gut feeling that turns out to be spot on, you're still using an instrument. It might be the most beautiful, most tuned-in part of the instrument for sure, but it's still not the very essence of your being. It's not the aham.
Okay, so if the mind is just a tool, how do we get to know the one who's using it? Well, the next step is to create a little space, to learn how to just watch our own minds at work.
Here's a simple exercise you can try, but it's incredibly powerful. Just find a quiet moment as thoughts and feelings bubble up. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's joy, maybe it's jealousy. Don't get swept away. Just notice them. Look at them like they're clouds floating by in the sky. And when you do that, you can't help but realize something amazing. You're the one who's watching. And in that moment of watching, you see this huge difference. The observer, that's your true self, the aham, it's just there, steady, constant, and unchanging. But the things you're watching, your thoughts, your feelings, man, they are changing all the time. This really drives home the difference between who you truly are and what you're just experiencing.
It all leads to this perfectly logical conclusion, right? You can't be the thing that you are able to observe. A scientist can't be the same thing as the cells under her microscope. The watcher and the watched are two separate things. So you are not your thoughts because you can watch your thoughts come and go.
So we figured out what we're not. We're not our body, we're not our mind, we're not our feelings. So what in the world are we? Let's try to get a feel for the nature of this true self, this aham.
Here's a beautiful way to think about it. That highest, most spiritual state of your mind, it's like the beautiful, shimmering reflection of the sun on the surface of a lake. It's stunning, no doubt, but it's still just a reflection. The aham, your true self, is the source of that light. It's the sun itself, always there, always shining. Or try this one on for size. Picture yourself as this brilliant, radiant jewel that's always shining. Your thoughts and emotions are just layers of cloth that get wrapped around it. They can hide the light, sure, but they can never, ever change the jewel itself. And that is the whole point. The jewel's nature is to be brilliant and radiant, whether it's covered by 1,000 layers of cloth or none at all. It never changes. And in the exact same way, your true self is always there, pure, whole, and constant, right beneath the surface of all your thoughts. Now, getting this isn't just some cool philosophical idea to think about. This has a massive, practical, and really empowering effect on your daily life. It's about completely changing the relationship you have with your own mind. The second you truly know that you are the steady observer, you're no longer a slave to every little thought or feeling that pops up. An angry thought might show up, but you don't have to be anger. A wave of sadness might come, but you don't have to become sadness. You see them for what they are, just temporary events happening in your mind. The whole power dynamic just flips. And this is the ultimate takeaway. You are the ruler. You are the one in the driver's seat. And the mind, with all of its incredible abilities, is your powerful instrument there for you to use however you choose.
So this is the call to action. It's about going back to that powerful intellect, that deep well of compassion, those fiery emotions, and using them on purpose. Instead of being dragged around by them, you get to direct them, just like a master craftsman uses their tools.
So, as we wrap this up, the question really isn't who am I anymore, is it? The real question is for you, the master, the ruler, the sovereign soul. Knowing what you now know, how are you going to use your incredible instruments?
Welcome! Today, we're diving into the core teachings of the sovereign soul. We're going to break down this incredible journey that takes us from mastering our own mind all the way to realizing that we're connected to, well, everything. So let's just jump right in with a big question. Who is actually in the driver's seat of your life? Is it you, or is it your mind? I think for a lot of us, it feels like our thoughts and our emotions are the ones calling the shots. But what if we've had it completely backward this whole time?
And that leads us to the very first step, which might just be the most important one. Finally recognizing the battle that's going on inside of us every single day. It's a fight for the throne of our own inner kingdom.
It's a really vivid image, isn't it? An uncontrolled mind is like a tyrant that literally drags you through thorns. You know that feeling, right? Getting pulled into painful situations by your own impulses, even when you know better. The text suggests that so many of us are living this way, serving a tyrant that lives inside our own head.
But here's the thing, there is another way. It's like looking at two completely different realities. On one side, you've got the chaos, the reactivity, the servitude of an uncontrolled mind. But on the other side, you have the clarity, the peace, and the power that comes from mastering it. The whole goal is to make that flip and claim your rightful place as the calm, clear ruler of your inner world.
So how in the world do we actually do that? How do we make that flip? Well, the text gives us this brilliant metaphor for taking back control. We need to become the engineer of our own mind.
So picture this. Your mind is like a vast factory, filled with all these powerful, noisy, complex machines. Now, an amateur would walk in and be totally intimidated, just lost in all that chaos. But the engineer, the one who understands how it all works, they walk in with confidence, ready to run the entire system with skill and precision. That's the shift in perspective we're aiming for.
And the process is actually pretty straightforward, broken down into these 3 crucial steps. First, you have to realize you are separate. You are not your thoughts. You're the one who observes the thoughts. Step 2, you assert your authority. You declare yourself the ruler. And finally, step 3, you start issuing new commands, retraining your mind to work for you, not against you. And this brings us to the core of that declaration, a really powerful mantra from the text. This is the foundational command you give to your mind. This is the moment you decide to stop being a servant and start being the sovereign.
Okay, so once you start getting a handle on your inner world, something really interesting starts to happen. Your perspective on the outer world begins to shift. You start to see that nothing is static. Everything is part of this constant, universal flow.
To really get this, the text gives us this incredible image. Picture yourself standing in a fast-flowing river. The water that touches your skin in one moment is gone the next, replaced by new water. It's the perfect illustration of a fundamental truth. Absolutely everything is in constant motion. And think about it. This isn't just some philosophical concept. It's a biological reality. The cells in your body are constantly being replaced. The thoughts in your head, they aren't even uniquely yours. They're just flowing through the collective consciousness like clouds in the sky. Absolutely nothing is fixed.
Which, of course, brings us to a really mind-bending question. If your body, your thoughts, your possessions, if they're all just temporary parts of this universal river, then what can you actually call mine? This question forces you to totally rethink your sense of self and ownership.
And the answer to that question is the ultimate understanding this text is guiding us towards. The separation we feel between ourselves and everything else, it's just an illusion.
The text puts it beautifully. What you think of as your individual mind is just a single drop in the ocean of a great universal mind. What you call your soul is just an inseparable piece of one supreme soul. It's all one consciousness.
And to help us wrap our heads around this, the text gives us these incredible analogies. It's like one sun being reflected in thousands of different pots of water, or one single sky being seen through the openings of thousands of different jars. The idea isn't that we're all similar, it's that we are all expressions of the very same thing.
This ancient wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita just nails it. The whole goal is to be able to look at anyone or anything and see the exact same self, the same spark that exists inside you.
Okay, so that's a huge, kind of mind-blowing concept, right? But how do we take that idea and actually live it from day to day? Well, the text suggests the answer lies in a simple but incredibly powerful mantra.
The mantra is Soham. It literally translates to I am that. And that, with a capital T, is the big one. It's the universe, the ultimate reality, the whole shebang. So Soham isn't just a phrase you repeat. It's a state of being you're meant to inhabit, a constant reminder of your true unified nature.
And this all builds to the full expression of that state, Soham Asmi, which means I am that I am. This is it. This is the ultimate declaration of unity. It's the final, profound recognition that your individual consciousness and the universal consciousness are and have always been one and the same.
And so, this is the final thought we'll leave you with. Because this isn't just some abstract idea to think about. It changes everything. If you are the universe, if you are truly one with everything and everyone around you, how will you treat it today? How do you treat the world when you finally realize it's you?